This is the Ecwid e-commerce show with your host, Jesse Ness, along with Richard Otey.
Welcome back, Ecwid listener. We got a special show for you today. I'm excited as well, not just for you, but for myself. Not only do we want to teach you how to build your e-commerce store and how you could make social media easier and do the things you need to do to drive business or drive customers to your business, but I'm also excited because I'm trying to learn this new social media platform as well. So we're going to both be learning together here. And on today's show, we have the TikTok teacher, the mothership, Helen Palisi. How are you, Helen? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. just launched another tutorial last night, which is going a little viral at the moment. So it's exciting.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons I was super excited to have you on the show is your personality. When I first logged on to TikTok, I don't know if it was just because you're so popular or if I just fit the algorithm of what I was looking for or what, but you kept popping up. And I mean, it probably was because I was looking for tutorials like, how do I use this thing? You know, everybody's saying, this, you should be on this. The organic reach is great. Definitely, they would talk about between TikTok and LinkedIn is like the best organic reach. But I was like, LinkedIn, I don't know. Like, let's talk TikTok. And, and I just kept seeing you come on to my For You page. Is that what it is when it's
For You page, pressing the buttons? Yes.
Yeah. And so can you let our listeners hear a little bit about, how'd you discover TikTok? A little bit about your origin story. Like, where'd you come from? How'd you find it? What's making you so successful? And we'll do that throughout the show, right? But just a little bit of the background here, and then we'll get started.
Surely. Well, so as a lot of people found themselves with a little time on their hands during the pandemic at first, I also had my work slowed down. I had nothing going on, and I happened to do production for a living, but that's related to what I'm doing on TikTok, but it's what made things really happen for me on TikTok because I have a little bit of information that I was able to suddenly share. So I took myself on TikTok, obviously a platform meant for young people, and thought, oh, what the heck is this about? I have some time to explore it now. And I just dove in, just dabbled, just had some fun, and just learned it using my own content. It was the first time I ever put myself in front of the camera in a real way. And I decided to really create my content, like think about it. What was I going to do? Make recipes in my kitchen, teach people how to clean their refrigerator, just stupid things that really was everyday, mundane stuff. And I ended up going viral and growing a following pretty quickly.
So that's awesome. So, I mean, it's obvious if you're teaching people and you're successful with teaching people, that would be, I guess a natural, of course she's doing well. She's teaching people how to do it, but it sounds as if that's not what you actually started with. You started with recipes. You started with how to clean.
I was doing whatever I felt like doing. Honestly, it was like, what am I doing today? Let's make a video about it. So that's really what I started doing. What I realized happened as I look back on it now is I was teaching myself what works, what doesn't work, what people like, what people don't like. I was learning from the comments what my purpose on TikTok was going to be. And so what started to happen is the people who are watching my recipes and my little like home gadget things that I was doing were curious to how I was doing it. Because I, of course, was doing the trendy transitions and things. And they were like, oh, how'd you do that? Teach me. And when I made the tutorial for the first time, that is when I really blew up. My account exploded from 30,000 to 300,000 within a couple of weeks. So it was pretty hard and fast when it happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you still work? do you
have
time
for work? Can you imagine that? Yes, I do still have a day job. I need the day job because TikTok doesn't really pay the bills quite yet.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have you on the show too. These people are starting e-commerce businesses. Some of them are literally doing business for the first time. And so, what a better person to learn from if there's another social media platform that could get them attention than someone who didn't know anything about it either. And, neither one of us fit what people think is the demographic, right? Now, I haven't gone viral yet. I'm just doing it. I'm on my 6th day. I started in December after going through your course, and we'll let people know about your course at the end. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was fantastic, by the way. So basically just, it sounds as if getting on and exploring is just step one.
It is step one. And also, I mean, especially for business, and that's what we're talking about now, is thinking about what your goal is. Because when I started, I didn't need to do that. I just was like, I'm out here, I'm putting myself out here. I wasn't looking to sell product or create a business, to be quite honest. I was just looking to have fun. So I used my own self to learn. But knowing what I know now and looking back, if I see the success for businesses and potential people who are trying to sell something or create something or create a brand, is really that focus really does help you, because you put yourself right away in front of the right group of people. And I think that because I was all over the place, it was even harder for me to find a group of people, because people didn't know what to make of me. Today I'm cleaning the kitchen, tomorrow I'm doing a recipe, next day I'm doing something in my bedroom. I was just all over the place. And I think it was actually, I defied the odds on building a following, if you really look at it, because to find a specific audience and talk to that audience does help you grow faster.
Well, look, I mean, you have to explore in the beginning because we don't know what to do. I myself have, I started out just posting. I don't know if I told you the story. If I did, sorry, it's redundant, but I'll tell you real quick. Because it could possibly be inspiration for someone else that's listening to this or watching this right now. So about 2+ years ago, I opened it for the first time, and I'm sitting with a friend, and I had seen people do funny things. And so I'm like, let's try this thing where I'm going to try to make you appear and disappear. And so I hit the record, and then I did it, and I did it wrong. And then I did it one more time, and it's totally was like, oh my gosh. And we were off to go do something else. So I stopped, but it saved it as a draft inside my account. Maybe, 9 months, 12 months after that. Now we're in the middle of COVID. I open up for the first time. I'm in the draft, looking at the draft. My daughter saying, what is this? I hit the button to record on accident one more time. And I just kind of laughing with her. And I basically say, I don't know, but I know this is not the way you're supposed to make these things. Right. And just laughing. And then, it stops and we start doing something else again. And I knew that I wanted to learn more about it. Right. And I also knew that we were going to have you on the show. So I was like, okay, I got to get on here. And I started to get really like, oh my gosh, what do I do? She does them so well. I should go through all her TikToks and make sure I do this perfect one. And not that you told me to do it. I just, knowing by seeing your infectious personality, they're just like, just go. I just heard you in my head say, just go for it, Richard. So instead of trying to make it perfect or starting over and doing this whole thing, I knew I would always get better if I kept doing it. Yeah. Right. So I just put that aside and I just recorded one more thing. And I said, well, I guess I better post this one. It's all up from here, and I'm people didn't start knocking down my doors to do business with them or anything, but I got like 600 people who saw it and a couple comments and people, oh, keep it up and, blah, blah, blah. So, and, now I'm trying all those other things, going through your tutorials, went through your course already. But yeah, I too am noticing that if you can niche down whatever that thing is, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever that thing is. And I'm noticing it doesn't always need to be about your product. I know we want to sell on this show, but it could be you just really help people feel good about life. You really help people, that you help them relax, you help them smile, you help them calm down. And then maybe later they find out in video 16 that you also do homemade soaps and bath bombs and other things right. that also help people relax and help people feel good. Right. So there's ways around. I'm wondering if you have any ideas on that.
I would love to, because I really have always said this from the beginning when I tell people that are like, what should I do on TikTok? I mean, the thing is adding value, no matter if you're a business or just a person on TikTok, what are you adding to someone's life? And that's when you can change the game for your, create the following and grow your audience, because you're doing something for them. And it's such a basic concept because it doesn't have to be, you don't have to teach something. You could be adding value to someone's life by the way you make them feel every day when you come on. So I don't do tutorials every day. I mean, first of all, people would get sick of it. I think I have a playlist for them, but I rotate through content. And I think if businesses think about that idea of today I'm going to teach, tomorrow I'm going to show, next day I'm going to make someone laugh, so you're rotating through things where you're making people feel a way, and that is going to add value to their life. So teaching them something is great, and that's beneficial to my content. But I'm also, on other days, I'm just dancing with the doorman, or I run into someone on the street and I want to do something funny, make an interview. So keeping it irreverent and not perfect is probably your best friend on an app like TikTok, because nobody wants that Instagram perfection. They don't want that, slick commercial. And I do commercials for a living, so I know what that's about. And that's not what this is about. So, and I think we're seeing that transition into TV advertising, actually, that really more authentic attitude is trickling over from social media into, what I see as slicker advertising is really going more authentic. So
yeah, I'm noticing that when I see the sponsored ads. I don't know, because I'm not in their analytics or anything, but when I see the sponsored ads that are natural, just looks like somebody it was just a TikTok that they converted to an ad, they inspire me too. And I click on and I look deeper. When it's super polished, and because I too worked in television film a while back, past life. When it's super polished and it was done by professionals, it just doesn't, I mean, it still looks good. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from their craft. Like, it looked good, but it didn't make me want to go any deeper. Like, there's just something about the psychology of, here's another human being. It's almost like you're getting a glimpse into their life, a glimpse at how they look at things. And
totally,
seems
it's
a
like
lot more natural.
being relatable is really kind of cool. And that the thing that I'm noticing, like I like to show myself more unpolished, because I think people think, oh, of course she's going to be good at doing TikToks because she does production for a living. Guess what? No, I don't take any of that. All I take from my production is the knowledge of how to do a trick. And then I try and break it down to say, look, even you can do this if you don't have a production background. It's really easy. Let me show you. And I take my stylist and I walk people through it. So, I mean, the idea is really bridging the gap from what professional advertisers are doing, but bringing it down to a term where everybody can do it. And I love when I get comments like, I might never make a TikTok, but I love watching you teach me how. And then someday maybe I'm going to be inspired to do a TikTok thanks to you, because I understand it. You make me understand it. And I just love that we're talking about beginners and all ages of people. I have young millennials who are excited to learn from mom, and then I have the rude ones call me grandma. I'm not ready for that yet. But but I really love the ones where I'm inspiring the people that are, 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus, that are like, wow, I would never thought to do this until I saw you. And now you make me want to make TikToks. And I just get warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love how you incorporate your family in it too. I've seen quite a few where you have your family in there. It's super sweet.
Yeah, they're willing, at least.
And just in case someone was a little scared and thinks they actually have to have a stylist, what she actually, because I've watched her tutorials, she's talking about the pin that you can.
Oh, the stylist, not the stylist. Yes, it's actually the pen that I touch the phone with. I'm sorry, that's a really good point.
No, it's okay. It's just easy. It's so close. It's so close. Not to say you don't look like you have a stylist.
No, I don't have a stylist. Thank you.
But so yeah, that's a great point, though. I also, actually, one question that you said there, or one thing you said there, makes me think of a question, I should say. You've tried different things. Do you recommend that? I noticed you can switch accounts. You can have multiple accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would imagine once you get going and once you get traction, it's probably better to stay in one account, but there is a possibility for someone to have a personal account and a business account if they're a little bit timid on trying to do both on both, right?
Very easy to switch between back and forth with accounts. It's not, you don't want to switch your one account from personal to business, because you would decide that you're a business account and then you set that up in your profile. But to have a second account that is your personal, or a second account that becomes your business, it's very easy to go back and forth and post. And at one point when I was doing the baking videos, I don't really ever talk about this, but I did make a separate baking TikTok account, because I thought, well, maybe I should just do all baking. And then I realized, I'm never going to do that, because I'm too multi-dimensional to stay in one lane. So I had to just let it go. And I said, you know what, occasionally if I feel like doing a baking thing, I'm just going to throw it out there. So I don't have that strong trying to sell something on my site, on my channel necessarily. So I don't feel like I need a niche account. However, for a business, you do want to be in your lane pretty heavily and lean into it, because that's where you're going to grow quicker. So, I look at accounts and I say, oh, that person just only does that. And that's great. But a lot of times I get sick of seeing that over and over from that person. And it makes me want to just like not interested and mute them for a while, since it gets a little old. So there's definitely a balance where people are, you get bored of a certain type of content and you need to that's why I like to keep my content fresh and always like there's a surprise. You never know what's going to happen next on the mothership.
So is there a way to promote your content aside from ads? Right. We'll probably do a whole nother one on ads at another time too. Cause I know, when we interviewed TikTok earlier, they said, make TikToks, not ads. Right. And then eventually, they
True.
sell ads. So of course they'd like you eventually to, but I think they were really being sincere in that this is the way you connect with people first. Kind of like what you were alluding to earlier. Just be yourself. I also know you were mentioning, we were talking the other day, you said on the business account, it might have a little bit less on sound choices, maybe some sort of licensing or something like that. So, but hey, we're businesses, we're trying to sell stuff. And if you can't get a couple sounds, you can't get a couple sounds. So focus on the positive of you can still
do the trend with a different sound on there.
Yeah.
Be creative. I want to just address that make TikToks not ads for a second, because that was a really good statement. And I interpret that as, even if it's an ad, make it a TikTok. So it's like, they're not saying don't do advertising or don't promote. They're saying that if you're going to do the promotion, make it a relatable TikTok. Yeah. So for example, and I'm going to throw Duolingo out there because they're doing it phenomenally well. And it's one of my favorite accounts to follow and see how they're doing, because they managed to figure out how to do it. And they're a good example to look at because they make TikToks and then they put them out there as promotion. I mean, but it's, when I see it, I'm not feeling like it's an ad. And that's the goal. You want it to not feel like an ad. You want it to feel organic.
And so do you recommend, so aside from ads, then from a promotion standpoint, the obvious is if you do good work, it seems as if the algorithm will put it in front of good, people for your market. I've even noticed a couple of times it was like borderline, whoa, like someone actually watching my account. Like I put in a picture of my dog doing something, and the second sound was who let the dogs out, right? Like it knew that there was a dog in the photo. So I was like, whoa, they're trying to make it easy for us.
It's so true. It's so true. I think it's funny because I think about the content and I think about, I don't try and sell, even having a course. I don't make every TikTok end with like, and buy my course, and blah, blah. I barely ever mention it. I think I've made 3 TikToks in the past 3 months that even talk about the course at all. And they're very loosely talked, because I feel funny promoting it anyway. That's not really what my goal is. I don't need it that hardcore. I just try to help people. That's what it's there for. So that's why I made it very inexpensive. But what I find is, if I find another way to work it in, I might, I started doing, I have a VIP list and I'm going to send out bonus tips. So I started doing it a little bit that way. And then when people go there for the free VIP list, they see my course and it's $15. Like, what do you have to lose? I mean, you can learn. I broke it down because I felt like it was something missing. I started on TikTok. I'm like, what does this button do? What does that button do? And once I figured it out, I'm like, what would be really helpful? Somebody explaining this from the beginning. And I'm going to do it. So that's what I took it on, because I felt like it was missing. And you have tons of people teaching tutorials, and I love it. I learn from all of them, but everybody has a different style. So a business could say, oh, there's so many people doing that already, or there's so many accounts doing that. Well, they're not doing it your way. Like, nobody's doing it in my style, with my manner, with maybe my kindness or welcoming attitude. So I'm just going to lean into me. Like, this is what I do well, and that's where I'm going to focus it, and not, worried about the competition and constantly looking at who's doing other tutorials. And did I get to that tutorial first? I don't know. I barely have time to keep up, much less worry about what the competition people are doing. And so I think, really thinking about what you want to bring to someone's life as a business, just in a fuller way than just to sell them something. And it's hard, because when you're trying to sell something, that is your focus, and you get so stuck in it, and it's trying to get yourself back out of it. Like, what can you share about why you're doing this business. What can you share about your story that people might be interested in? So thinking of it more fleshed out instead of just selling an item.
Yeah, I like that a lot because you hear it many times, especially myself being in marketing. People want to know you, they want to like you, they want to trust you before they want to buy from you. You've heard various forms of that phrase. And so just getting out there and showing your personality, they feel like they get to know you. Um, we can't sell everything to everyone, so we're looking for the people who want what we have anyway, and we want to be able to do the things that some of the bigger companies can't do, right? Like we can't be Amazon. We're not going to get there the fastest. We're not going to be the cheapest, and we're not going to, you know what I mean? Like we're not going to do that. So we have to be the things that it can't be. And so, you know, one of the things I was thinking about as you were talking there, um, is I've also seen enough features. I haven't participated in it yet, but like, stitching where someone else might have a viral video and maybe you can stitch and say something right after, or maybe duet and like a reaction video and stuff like that. Have you seen people be successful or at least have a good start, to get a little traction to where they maybe as they're learning the platform, they can take other people's success and maybe piggyback of people who like that type of content, or so they don't have to be like, oh my gosh, what do I do to get started? Because
Right.
not everyone is as experimental and playful as we are. Um, I hope they become more as they're inspired by you, but they have a lot of stuff going on in their business. And so there might be possibility, and would love to hear a little bit of feedback on
Do things
taking somebody else's already, you know, successful piece of content and then adding your personality or touch or your comments or your review of it. Any thoughts on that?
But it's a good strategy, and a lot of people do it a lot. Like you have some accounts that are based strictly on duets and strictly on stitches. I think if you sprinkle them in and try it, it's a way to start quickly. So you can pick on someone, pick out someone who's got something that's like relevant, and you can either add to it when you duet it, you can speak over it as well, you can stitch it and you can respond to it. And it's a strategy. Yes. Should the account be built only on that strategy? No, but there are definitely quick ways to make TikToks without thinking, oh my gosh, this is a whole production and how am I going to do this? The shorter the better when you're starting anyway, because you want to keep people hooked in. And once you start going with length, you're going to lose people because everybody's after like 10 seconds. Did you hold on to them quick enough? They're going. So short is your friend in the beginning. And you can look at trends are your friend, and trends really help you if you can spin that trend into what you're doing. So if something's happening where it's like a boyfriend girlfriend trend, I will tend to take that trend as a TikTok teacher and make it about me and my TikTok students, or me and my TikTok class. Or me and my addiction to TikTok, or whatever it is, as the teacher. So I take a trend that might not be relevant to me and I spin it to me because it's a quick way to execute something. I had something simple like there was this the Elf movie. There was the screaming Santa's coming. You know what I mean? And taking something like that about what are you excited about in your business. I'm like, a new trend. Oh my God. So I think that in my head when I do the Santa, and then I'll write on my TikTok, a new trend to teach, that I'm excited about. So really the hard thing for people is to think outside the box. They see the trend and they think, I got to do it exactly like that. Absolutely not. You don't want to. You want to think beyond that. Think about how to take that trend and make it about your business, because then you're on trend. It's funny. People are already relating to that kind of meme thing that's going on, but you've spun it and made it about your business.
So, yeah, I love that. I love that. I also love that you could always delete it if you don't like it. You could always make a private one. You could make, there's ways you can do it. Nothing is permanent from the standpoint of you can change your profile, you can change your name, you can start making new stuff, you can start titling it different, right? How important do you think titles are, by the way? The actual title.
I do think titles are helpful, especially because when you're trying to scroll and find something in someone's page, there's no way to know. So those titles do help. I tend to only title my tutorials because then it's a quick way for somebody to scroll down my page and always know when it's a tutorial in between my other nonsense, because I'm having, fun doing other things. So this way, and people who don't have playlists, this is a great way to organize your content. So if you're And this is a secret style for playlisting. If you don't have that feature to put your content in buckets that a lot of people have. Have you seen that, Richard, where it's at the top?
I'm just now, like I said, six full days in, and I'm noticing that. So, I mean, and I'd imagine like people who have been on TikTok longer even know that those are playlists.
Yeah.
Some of us that are just getting started didn't even know they were playlists.
Yeah, they don't notice it. But at the top, you have the option. So you can say, you know, if you wanted to do recipes and tutorial, if I wanted to organize my content, and I have that capability. But if before I had that capability, what I did was I made red titles for all my tutorials and, you know, blue titles for my New York City tour stuff that I was doing. So I would just do it by title so a person could scroll down quickly and see, oh, this is a tutorial. I know how to find it. So I do recommend that to organize your content and really to let people know. A lot of people do go to your page and scroll down. So it's a good way to get them to see things.
What about number of posts in a day or a week or
so much talk about this, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people say 3 times a day, you got to post 5 times a day. The more you post, the more you post. I mean, that's great. But let me tell you, hamster wheel is like endless. And you're constantly trying to think of content, and then and it becomes debilitating, and you're not being creative anymore. So then it's pointless. You're just slapping shit against the wall. And you know, that's not necessarily the answer either. So I think, I know people say consistency, and that's what I've been thinking. And I do it more as a discipline versus a motive. People will say, you're so motivated. No, I'm just disciplined. I know I want to post a TikTok every day, whatever it may be. I try and stick something out there every day. And when I notice like a day went by, I'm like, oh, I didn't post a TikTok today. What can I think of? And I scroll quickly on the For You page, and I'll see something trending, and I make it in 2 seconds. I mean, you just don't overthink it if you have a goal that you set. So the thing is, do something, make a plan that's sustainable for you. And if it's every other day, I see people's account and I look to see how often do they post, and I'll go, oh, they're consistently every 2 days, because you can scroll down and see the dates. So I'll notice many big accounts do an every other day system or an every 3 days system. So I don't think there's a hard and fast rule. I think it's, you find your audience and they're going to come looking for you.
Yeah, that's a great point. I personally am going to do 1 a day for December just to make sure I'm in there. I'm going to give myself some leeway after that, but I want to make sure I'm learning something every day with it. And to your point, I'm not trying to get stuck in this rabbit hole or hamster wheel or any of the phraseology for just doing too much and worrying too much and thinking too much. But I do want to make sure I'm trying something new each day. Right. And I've already noticed some get more traction than others, and I'm not going to get caught up in that, because for December, I'm learning, and I'll go from there and I'll adjust accordingly.
It happens to even big creators, honestly. Like, you may look and say, oh, this person always gets high views, but compared to, if you compare their views and go down, you'll see like a big creator gets like 15,000, 20,000, 100,000 views consistently. And then you'll see some in between that are like 10,000 and 5,000. So relatively, that's still a small percentage of views. So we all experience it. We all experience the ebbs and flows of content. And one of the things I notice personally on my own account is when people tend to share, send it to people and save it. Those have almost like a higher rating in the algorithm somehow. So if you're putting value out that people want to refer back to, that seems to help it, because I have a lot of posts that have tons of comments, but they didn't really get a big amount of views. So I'm thinking, well, comments aren't really maybe necessarily that high rated compared to saves and shares. Because the minute you have people saving your content, man, that's when your numbers are going up.
It's interesting you say that. Like, I would never claim to know the algorithms of any of these platforms.
We don't know.
But if you think out kind of what maybe the psychology behind what would be put into an algorithm, you'd think, well, what's easier to do? Just hit a like. That's pretty easy to do. And if a lot of people like it, for the number of people that saw it, that's useful to some degree. People make a comment on it. It's not quite as easy as a like, but you could. But some people are shy. So maybe they liked it, but they didn't want to comment on it because maybe they're new to it and they're shy. And so maybe it just has a little higher. Again, I don't know the actual
right. None of us know.
but when you do kind of all the above, you liked it, you commented on it, you shared it, you saved it, I just feel like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that they're probably saying, hey, this is some good stuff. Let's find some more people to put this in front of. Because let's be honest, all of these platforms are platforms that they would love people to stay on longer, right?
Mhm.
They sell ads and there's
Absolutely,
content that,
absolutely.
so I mean, no one's hiding that, right? But again, going back to the comment that they personally said of make TikToks, not ads, it's about connection, right? At its base level, as marketers, as people who are trying to do, we're trying to connect with people. And so, yeah, one of the things I was just going to ask you is we've covered a lot of stuff. I know we're coming up on time. We both have hard stops here. Is there anything that you think I should have asked, or that you would like to share that you didn't get a chance to cover yet, um, that you think might be helpful for someone who's first starting out and they have a lot going on, and it could even be inspirational. I don't care. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Just something to just be like, oh, this person again who's gone, oh, so many things to do, and now I got to get on another one of these
Yeah.
platforms.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
it's so hard. I mean, the reward side of TikTok is so much has so much bigger potential than other social media platforms. So that alone could be your little boost of, you know what, it's worth a shot, because
mhm.
it's the growth can happen so much faster just by the nature of how it's run and how the algorithm works, because it puts you out in front of, you can potentially get in front of so many more people than you can on any other platform. And it's interesting to me because if I think about what you just said about, they want people to stay on the platform longer, and that's what, TikTok, by accident I landed in a niche where I'm helping TikTok because I'm providing the information
Yeah.
to help people stay on the app, want to do it because they love it. I mean, this is purely by accident. I did not do this strategically, but let's use it as the guinea pig to learn for other people. Like what did I do that made this magic happen? Well, I'm helping the platform keep people on it by teaching new people how to use it, and by giving them fun things to learn, and inspiring them to try it. So I'm doing it by accident, and what the app wants and what the algorithm wants. So if you think about that formula and apply that to your business, there's some good learning in there. And I'm not the e-commerce guru, but I can look at it, I can look at the data and I can
Yeah.
say, oh, I see why it worked.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on the show. Your smile is infectious, your personality is infectious, your TikToks are infectious. I really hope
So
people
much fun.
follow you and look more into what you're doing. Um, Please let our audience know, where can they learn more about you,
Okay.
possibly get your course, anything you want to share.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say fun is the operative word. And let's not forget that, because what you just said about me, every single time I do a TikTok, I'm having fun doing it. This is not fake. This is well, you see me now and you've spoken to me before, this is who I am. So I'm not holding back a different person on camera than who I am in person. So people meet me and they're like, oh, you're just like your TikToks. Like, hell yeah, this is me. So I think that's such a key, because the minute you're doing that and people are realizing that you're not faking it, this is who you are, that's like a huge incentive for wanting to keep doing it. So that's number one. In terms of where to find me, I teach my course the same way I teach my TikTok. So it's actually even more clear because my phone is sitting right next to my face the whole time, so you don't miss anything I'm pointing at. So the course is very simple. It's designed to teach you from the beginning how to use TikTok, and it can be found linked in I can send you the link to attach to the podcast,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's
I'll put
also,
it in the show notes.
it's
Yeah.
linked in my profile on my TikTok, which is at the mothership, with the and mothership is spelled with a U. All right. So and my Instagram is there, same on Instagram. And I also have the links in the same place. So you can find my course. It's only $15. I have a free VIP list where I send out weekly. I try not to overwhelm people, but I do send out advance, like, here's a secret free, like, release on the newest trend before I release it on TikTok. So I do that with my VIP list. Or if I find something that's happening on TikTok that I think people need to know about, but I don't need to make a TikTok about it, I send that out. So that's another place. I include, there's tons of other things you can see in my profile. You can see my production work. So you can see what I do for my day job. If you need like full up commercials, I do that as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on over here.
Awesome. Well, loved having you on the show. And I hope that everyone is inspired by you like I was, and they want to get out there and start making it happen. And just want to say, Ecwid user, keep it up, keep working, keep at it, and get out there and make it happen.
Hey, this is Jesse and Rich. We want to let you know we really appreciate you listening.
We hope you find the tips we give you helpful for growing your business.
You can find all of our past episodes and a lot more useful stuff at ecwid.com/podcast.
And also, check us out on your favorite podcasting platform like Apple Podcast or Stitcher. And make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing.
Be sure to let us know what you think by rating and reviewing so we can serve you better.
So subscribe on your favorite platform.
And come join our community, check out the transcripts, or tell us why you would be a great guest at ecwid.com/podcast.